Right, g'day again. It's Friday afternoon. Excuse the flies are just driving me mental out here at the moment. So I've done 120 kilometres since this morning. Haven't switched out the GoPro battery today too much. It's been really tough going. To be honest, I've only dropped the bike twice today. There was one I made a mistake coming up a dune. And I went around the left-hand track and just, yeah, had deep ruts and all that stuff, and I just didn't give it the curry I needed to, and yeah, of course, over she went, and so I got it back up on its feet, and then promptly got it bogged, and that was a little interesting, and then all of a sudden, just as I turned the bike off, I could hear a 450 motocross bike in the distance, and so I knew if I just sat there for a minute, I might be able to get some help to get the bike out. And so I didn't waste any energy trying to pull it out by myself or anything like that. I sat tight, and lo and behold, a minute or two later, a great big group of trail riders came through, and they were a real blessing getting the bike out. They jumped on the front end and at the back and gave it a push and a pull while I got it moving again. And as soon as it got moving again, we got it up above the sand and no problem at all again. But for about the next 30 k's until I came across their two support vehicles, I had to deal with all of the sand dunes on the downsides that had been carved up badly by those 17 bikes. And they weren't riding bad or anything. They were good riders and sensible blokes and everything, but the way the sand works out here, you just can't run those sort of numbers of bikes over it and then try and run a big bike over it and not expect trouble. So I got through that, but it was tough going. It was, really, really, really hard work. A lot of sweat, a lot of, not curses so much, but, a lot of front end dives and things like that. And you're really sort of working hard to keep the bike upright and trying to keep that controlled aggression going and that. And it's just, that was difficult. But then them Forbies come through, and they were really, really nice mob too. I forget the name of the tool group, but right up there was Ride ADV and all the other good operators out there. And they saw me fueling up the bike, and next thing you know, they're pouring water into my roto paxes and topping off my water and, checking I was all right and everything. And, and I was fine, but it was just a really, really nice thing for, it's the thing that's striking me very, very much out here, which is, as tough as it is, when I sit here and talk to this camera, I can't thank you enough for telling me to do this, Dave Darcy. Sorry, bloody flies. They don't taste real good. Plenty of protein, I believe, but one of the things that's good is it's like stepping back in time 20 years, the way people are to you. You pull up and say go to anyone, and it doesn't matter who it is, if they're out here crossing this desert, try and keep the flies off the camera, then there seems to be a real sense of, g'day mate, how are you, and nice to meet you, and all of that. And I'm thoroughly enjoying that. It's something I've been missing a lot in the world. Like, people are still polite on the coast and, friendly and all that, but it's kind of different, even though half of these people probably are from the coast like me, everyone comes up here and they seem to drop the city attitude, that slightly aggressive approach to life. Everything's nice and laid back, and hey, do you need a hand, or where are you off to, or can we take a photo for you, and that aspect of it is brilliant. The riding is stunning, and this is definitely a once in a lifetime ride. There's no two ways about it. I'm finding the hardest thing to deal with is just constant sand whoops, all right? Or they're like big undulations and they're bike swallowers. And even on the flats, it's literally like just riding hundreds of kilometres of a whoop section of a motocross track. And interspeed that with some semi to large sand dune climbs. A lot of them are quite rough to get up because of these same undulations. And then quite scary coming down the other side, some of them, because it's definitely a lot steeper on the eastern side. And you come down some of them and you've got to be third gear, and you've got to semi-attack, otherwise you bury the front end and you go off the bike. And that's what got me on the second drop, which was only probably an hour ago. I've just pulled up here after I picked the bike up and everything, and took the riding gear off, and cup of coffee, cup of electrolytes. Just the body was telling me to pull up for a bit, and I've been doing that all day. I've been going sort of 20 kilometres, and then stop for 20 minutes, half an hour, 20 kilometres, stop, go, and vice versa. And so far, I've managed to get just a bit over 120 kilometres done. It's 4 o'clock in the afternoon, but I'm very close to Purni Bore. I think I'm only about 10 or 15 kilometres from Purni Bore. I'm not 100% sure, but it can't be that far away. And I'm debating whether or not I go that next 15 k's today, because I really do need to cover some more miles, because otherwise I'm going to end up an extra half day in the desert out here. Like, I have no idea what the conditions are like after Purni Bore, but I'm right near the end of the French line, and I can honestly say this French line, and it's got a reputation well deserved. This is hard yakka on a big bike. This is real hard yakka. I don't regret being out here. I'm not going to sit around and I can't do it and all of that, because the reality is, with enough time, I'm pretty confident that I'll get through all of this. But gee, it's bashing the body up. I've spent too much time in the truck, not enough time on the bike, too much time smoking these horrible things. And I'm just finding that I need to stop regularly. And I think that's the smart way to do it. Like, I can say straight up, like, I've been sitting here now for a bit over an hour, hour and a half or something. And it was about 3.5 hours ago, 4 hours ago, I saw the last four-wheel drive that before I stopped here. So it's been nearly 5 hours since I even seen another vehicle or another person. And you've got to respect it, and you've got to play it safe, because it's just, I've had a couple of times. One of the things I'm noticing is with the roto packs is underneath my pannier bags. It's making the bike a little bit wide, and sometimes coming over the tops of these dunes, if I have to take a stab with the foot just to balance the bike out, I'm then getting grabbed by the sand, but also grabbed in the back of the calf by the pannier, and it's quite dangerous. It could, pretty easily snap my leg if I get it in the wrong way. So I'm just looking at options and sort of working this. There's not much I can do about it. Really the only thing I can do is attack these dunes properly each time and stop when I'm tired, so that I don't pussyfoot over the top of them. I'm finding that a bit of controlled aggression is definitely the way to go, but control is the key word. You've got to be so wary coming over the top of them, because they're changing direction, but also, once again, you've got huge drop-offs on some sides from where you've got big scalloped out sections by the four-wheel drives. And so you imagine coming up a dune like that then drops away down like that, but half the dune face is like this all the way down. And so not only are you trying to balance your speed so you don't end up compressing the front end too much and cartwheeling the motorcycle down the dune, but you've also still got to give it a little bit of acceleration the whole way down. Otherwise the front end digs in the really soft sand and pulls the bike out of your hands. For the last 120 kilometres, there's been no sit down riding and relaxing or any of that garbage, because this is far too whooped out. These undulations on these tracks, you sit down, the bike bounces you off the bike, you stand up, you try and work with the bike as much as you can to cover ground. I've been consistently sitting on about 45 to 50 kilometres an hour, third gear pretty much the whole French line. Second gear over the top of some of these sand dunes, not fast, but just trying to keep progressive forward movement at all times, and trying to cover some ground. So look, anyway guys, I'm getting sick and tired of these flies, and the air's cooling down, so I'm going to pack up this little bit of a shit fight I got going on here, bags and stuff everywhere, and I might put on some riding gear and try and make it to Purni Bore tonight. I got a feeling if it rains, it rained on me last night, not bad, but it could rain again tonight from the look of it. And I've just got a gut feeling there might be one of those picnic shelters things or something there, and if there is, it'd be nice to be able to just stay under that and keep all my gear dry and everything. But anyway, I'll sign off and we'll do a bit of riding on the way out to Purni Bore. And please understand when you're watching it, I'm now over 1,000 k's into my trip, and my body is starting to protest. I'm doing the best I can, but don't expect any high-speed antics or anything like that. This is very much a game of survival out here at this point. All right, I'll catch you out on the track.